Good morning, glorious being. It's great to see you. Just listen. There's a thrush over there. It's lovely. So, while the birds are singing, let me show you the garden. I'm very fond of this. It's not so much for its flowers, it's for the foliage. Look, you can see the old and the new. And I love the contrast. We're constantly changing. So there it is, and in the background, a massive purple cineraria. Well, actually there's 3 there. 4, if you go around the back. They're all slightly different colours. And, oh look, we have a teeny tiny flower on the rose that I just transplanted last month. Hello, Linda! This is encouraging. These roses have been languishing, and look, they're now sprouting away from the bottom because they have light. And that's exciting. Next year they'll be more exciting. Now they just need weeding. Here's something that is lovely. I've got to walk in here. But look at these. These are, well, they've been a bit hit by the rain, but these are Spanish iris. Good morning, Linda. Lovely to see you. And they're very elegant. They're just beautiful. Yeah. Oh, Roberta, good morning. It is lovely to be out here when it's, it's suburbia. There's noises in the background. But yeah, it's quiet, and I know what you're saying about solitude. Let's look at the lilies coming up, and look at the amazing cotinus in the background. So, yeah. Oh, there's things growing. You can see there's grass there, but this little, see there's an early flower. This will become the snow carpet. You can see all the buds. And there are ferns there that are coming up. So the summer course, if you like, is sprouting. It's coming online. New foliage coming on the roses is always encouraging because you know there's going to be flowers. And there is the amazing white thalictrum. See that post? It gets that big. Comes up every year, goes to sleep. And the fuchsia, which always grows, and you can see it gets the black spot and the leaves fall off, but it makes flowers. The last of the bluebells. But now it's the roses, and oh look, we've had a casualty. It happens. I've got to give these roses some attention and tie up the long sprouts because they do get damaged if there's wind. The last of the cherry blossom. It's still beautiful. Bit of a silhouette for you, but let's enjoy this silhouette. It's just lovely. The leaves, the branches, the leaves, the flowers. I'll get you a spot where you can actually see better. There you are. Now you can see the flowers. It's beautiful, beautiful here. And let's not forget the magnolia. Because there it is, and it just never stops being amazing. It generates more and more flowers. And our wonderful neighbours coming home. And this is a big magnolia. I think those are leaf things growing, but it's going to cover itself with flowers later. And so, this is my backyard. Let's enjoy these. Oh look, there's a little woodlouse climbing over the amazing, amazing leaves of the anemone. It's just simple things. But look at that. It's a work of art. It's not like a work of art. It is a work of art. Just beautiful. Alright, anything else I've missed? Oh, look at all the roses about to flower. Won't be long. They come in November. And there are more cineraria. I just leave them to flower and seed, and they pop up, and I appreciate that every year. So here we are in the front garden. It's so quiet. I don't know if you saw the picture I took at the top of the hill, but the harbour is an absolute mill pond. There are beautiful reflections, and it's so quiet. I wanted to just stay up there, but I was running late, so I couldn't do that. It was very, very beautiful. So today, when I was sourcing this conversation yesterday, I really didn't know for a minute. Often someone will drop me an interesting comment and there'll be a zing in, and I'll think, I'm going to talk about that. Yesterday there wasn't one of those, and I thought, And And so what I do is I start to stream and sort of free write what-if questions until something resonates. And the feeling that I was trying to capture was this business about the fact that we are magnificent. We are loved beyond measure. We are extravagantly awesome. And the universe is waiting for us to stand up and be that. And the thing about greatness and magnificence and wonder and awe and all of that is that, we've been trained by life to wait for someone to say, you got an A+, you're awesome. You achieved something amazing, you're incredible. But actually, if we're waiting for somebody outside of us to acknowledge our unique magnificence, we might be waiting a very long time. We might be waiting a long time. You know what, it's drizzling out here. If it keeps doing it, I'm going to go in. But the sky is clear, so it's probably just passing mizzle. So you're going to be waiting an awful long time for somebody outside of you to recognise the magnificence that's in you and make it visible to you. And when I was thinking about that, and it was something to do with what we were talking about yesterday, it was like the idea that came with it was, gee, I need to love myself enough to see this amazingness in me without needing anyone else to do it first. Morning, Jen! Good morning. And I can see another face up there that I recognise, but I just can't recall who of you wonderful people it is. So, Facebook's not telling me anything about anyone, and it is actually raining, so maybe I'll just go and stand on the top step under the shelter, because it's so nice out here. Admittedly, my front door isn't particularly pretty, but anyway, here we are. So, I can do this. I can turn around. You can see the world behind me. That's better. So, to love myself enough to see myself magnificent. That's no good. I'm backlit. Let's try that. Now there's more light on my face. To love myself enough to own my magnificence. To own my magnificence and my power and my beauty and my amazingness and my unique wow before anyone else around me sees it, because maybe the people around me don't even have the eyes to see it. Maybe I've always been out of step with everybody, and I'm beginning to understand that a little bit more about myself. Not that I had a hard time with it, but I never really felt like I belonged, and I understand more why that happens. And it used to be my story. It's not anymore, because I do understand where I belong. And that recognition of me to me just turned out to be really important. To actually be willing to own myself before anybody else could own me. Because maybe nobody else could even see me until I've been willing to see myself. Until I've been willing to say, well, I am this. Because think about it. Until you turn on the light, you can't see the light. Until somebody stands up and says, well, I'm an artist and I can paint or draw or sculpt or whatever, you can't see their art. And it's the same with you. That dog has given me a broad hint to go inside, so I'm going to do it. Oh, mate, yeah, it is raining. Let's go inside. You can't actually... I think there's a truth in the fact that you can't really expect anybody to see you until you're willing not just to see yourself and recognise, hey, I've got some skills, I've got some talents, and there's something about me that's different from everybody else, because there is. There's something that you can bring into the world that nobody else can, period. That's why you're here. You may not know what it is. You may think that's a crazy thing for anyone to say about you, but it's true. Excuse me, just organising myself here. But until you start to do it, or be it, inhabit that space inside yourself, how is anyone else even going to recognise it? How's anyone else going to know that you are this amazing, amazing being? If you don't start to create within yourself, well, if I am amazing, if I am unique, if I am talented, if I am the embodiment of something that is wanting to be expressed on planet Earth at this time, and we all are, well then what is it? And if something that's enormous and grand and magnificent scares the crap out of you, and immediately you look at it and think, no, I'd be so having the sun shine out of my ass if I even said I could be that. Well, that just means that you don't feel like that person, but it doesn't mean you can't do and be that person. It means you've got to start figuring out who that person is and explore and work your way in. Explore, live, breathe who that person is. And then as you start to do that, others will notice. They actually can't help but notice. Now, the people who are used to you being how you are when you're small and confused and you don't know what you're here for and all of that, some of them are not going to like you changing that because they depend upon you being how you are to help them figure out who they are. You know, the people who don't feel good in themselves, for example, but because they see you struggling, they feel better because they perceive that they're not struggling in the same way or not as much. And there's a perfectly valid way to feel better about something. You know, I mean, it's a principle of bullying, really, but I'm not saying that everybody who feels like that is a bully. But, you know, bullies generally hurt others because they're feeling so awful in themselves. It's the only way they can feel any sense of empowerment. Back to front and inside out, not a very helpful way to do it. It's very self-destructive because when you hurt other people, you hurt yourself. But, you know, they're doing the best they can. And so that's why people, I'm getting warm in here, that's why some people don't like it when others grow beautiful wings, because it makes them aware of the fact that they feel their wings are clipped or been ripped off, you know, to be a bit dramatic. So, yeah, some people aren't going to like it. And sometimes everybody in your entire life won't like it. But what happens is, if you love yourself, if you honour yourself enough, and this is really what I want to talk about, is choosing yourself, choosing you, then, oh, it's you, Mike, I got to remember that beautiful face is you, then the people that don't like it when you choose you, honour, love, respect you, will go away. And others who want to celebrate you because you and your authenticity and honesty and showing upness help them do more of that for themselves, they are going to find you. Now, the gap in between can be scary, but that's part of the journey. You've got to be willing to step out of what you know to become what you don't know, to get to know what you don't know so that it becomes what you do know. And to do that, you really have to love yourself enough to go through the process. You have to honour yourself enough. And here's the thing, when you go through that process, it's like an initiation with all, you know, with the people that change and your life that falls apart because it's your old life and you need your new life to happen, so your old life has got to fall apart and the new one comes in and you continue to choose who you are, and all of that. And as you go through that, you develop a kind of celebration, feeling wonderful, because you realise your own amazingness and your strength. You're so right about that, Mike. And nobody can give that to you. But when you love yourself enough to embody what you desire and get to know it, no one can take the degree of self-love and self-worth that you get when you pass through your own initiation just into being you. Oh, yes. Ha! It's true. We all only in reality have one quality. Ahmed! Lovely to see you. And the question is, who are we being? And do you like it? And if you don't like it, do you love yourself enough to go through the process of change? Because here's what it takes to change your life, is enough love that you will go against your own grain. You will go against what's familiar and easy for you to become more of what you want. It's, we're just used to being who we're used to being. The only state is that we be. It's true. But who are you being? And if you want to be someone else, do you love yourself enough to become that person? Do you honour yourself enough to do the work that we talked about yesterday to figure out, okay, who is that person? And when I'm that person, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? And if I'm thinking and feeling and doing that, what does that mean to me today? What does that mean to me about what I'm going to do when I stand up from finishing this live? How am I going to show up now? And, you might say, but I want to be wealthy. I want to have enough money to pay all my bills or whatever it is. Okay, so let's say that's what I'm thinking now. It used to be. Now I'm facing a different challenge in myself that I got to love myself into being about wealth and abundance and all that. But back then, when I was like, oh God, I just wish I was earning enough, I was so frustrated. That would mean that when I get up from the space where I'm creating myself, that if I notice myself starting to think, oh, I've got that bill to pay, I'm so annoyed, then I catch myself and I think, hang on a minute, by saying I'm so annoyed because I want to keep the money for this, but I've got to spend it on that, and there's never enough money for the things I want, and that was how I thought. I am affirming that reality. Now, do I love myself enough to give up my addiction to that frustration and lack or not? How much do I love and respect and honour myself to say, hey, that's not the thought I decided I was going to think. Instead, I want to think, I don't know how it's going to happen. It's impossible, but I'm feeling so grateful because I have way more than enough to do what I want to do for me and to do what I want to do for everybody else that I love and care about. And to impact the world and create change and all that, because that's what vibes me up. So which self am I going to inhabit in this moment where my reaction that I've had for many, many years is, I still can't do what I really want to do in life. But that's the old thing. Do I love myself enough not to do that? Not to indulge that habitual thought, that hardwired neurological network that just automatically goes off into frustration the minute I see another bill. The bigger it is, the more it goes off. And the resentment of, oh God, insurance costs like 20% of what I earn. Why do I have to have it? And whatever. Insurance is a privilege. It's not guaranteed. It gives you peace of mind. There's lots of things I can be grateful for, that I've got insurance and that I have the money to pay for it. Hello? So much resentment, frustration and lackful thinking. Very familiar, very easy for me. You could say, I'm in love with that self. I know how to be that. So me. But if I want to have a different life, I got to become a different me. A me that I really feel wealthy. I do. Amazes me as I sit here that I feel wealthy, but I do. And there are bills that need to be paid, and I have to think about cash flow, and it's not just automatic that the money's there and all of that. But I don't have the same mentality about it. I don't feel the same way about it because I have loved myself enough over a number of years. It didn't happen instantly. To say, no, I don't want to be that me anymore. I want to retire those kinds of thoughts. And I want to think new thoughts. And God, it's so hard, and there's so much evidence, and it's taken so long. And, story. All the old self. Kathleen, it's great to see you. Really? Where am I going to put my energy? What thought am I going to think? What feel am I going to feel? And fundamentally, what am I going to do when I finish talking to you? Who am I going to be? How much do I love myself? enough to say, well, nobody outside of my skin and none of the circumstances outside of me need to change for me to change? Do I love myself enough to become who I want to be in advance of anything changing outside of me? That's the quantum model of reality. 3D Newtonian physics says, cause and effect, apple drops on my head, it's going to hurt. Somebody buys me a holiday, then I feel happy. 5D quantum model of reality says, I'm going to feel wealthy, and after that my wealth will arrive. I'm going to feel healthy, and after that my healing will come. I'm going to feel loved and whole, and after that my lover will show up. And so if I am magnificent, and I know I am, then if I really truly love myself, I'm going to inhabit that magnificence before there's anything outside of my skin to show me exactly that that's true. That's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. That is how it works. You can always go back to 3D, but you're waiting for something outside of you to happen before something inside you can change. And you might wait a very long time. And I've got things to do. I don't want to wait like that. And besides, I've been waiting for 40 years already. I don't want to wait anymore. I want to create. And I know it's going to find me. And, things are landing. Yeah, I'm still waiting for massive amounts of money. But when I say waiting, I don't mean I'm just sitting here saying, oh, no, I'm creating. And I know that the money's going to find me. And when it does, it'll be exciting. But it won't make any difference to how I feel. Because I feel wealthy now. I'm inhabiting that now. I'm giving those signals to my body, my brain now, and it feels really good. It amazes me that that's true, but it really is. So love yourself enough to choose who you're wanting to be. And be that. Just a little bit each day. That choice over time transforms your life. And it's all about you loving you. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.